What is up, guys? It's Tactical Brothers Airsoft with another tutorial. This time will be a lot better and a lot easier. This time it is only the motor, and I'm going to replace it thanks to Cayden. I have another motor and that I'm going to give back, but in the meantime I have another motor. So basically what happened was I was at Oklahoma City's stockyards, and we were playing some hardcore gamage at the indoor facility, which is 200,000 square feet. Sadly, they only allow semi-automatic. What this does is create horrible contact between your trigger contact and basically what makes the motor spin around and all that. Especially if you're pumping 20 Cs every time you put semi-auto into it, and 15 Cs most likely while full auto, it starts creating an arc over on the contact. So basically it'll get black, contact goes bad, and then your gun stops shooting. At first I thought it was a fuse, so I replaced the fuse and it still wasn't shooting. It did sound like near the beginning of when I was shooting that it was a motor problem. But then come to realize it wasn't a motor problem because the motor spun just fine. So the next thing was to do to clean the contact. And I cleaned the contact and it still didn't shoot. So I was like, what the heck? Come to find out that it was the other side, the one side that I didn't clean, that made it start shooting. So everything's fine on it now. ICS is back up and running and everything's awesome. Except I gotta replace this motor because the other motor is Cayden's. So basically what you're going to do to remove the motor in any M4 platform of any kind, ICS, D-Boys, G&G, any of those, it'll be in your pistol grip stock of your M4. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a Phillips head, and there are two screws exactly here and here that you're going to unscrew. So do that real quick. Okay. So now there is a positive and a negative on the motor basically that goes on, and you can tell really easily by which one that is because there is a red piece and a non-red piece, I guess you can say. The red you definitely should know is positive, and the no color is negative. Pretty simple. This actually is the original ICS Turbo 3000 motor. It just doesn't have the all fancy smancy stuff. But this one, oh wait, totally forgot. But this one in here is the old gen Turbo 3000 motor, and it's just got all the nice stuff on it. So this one is a Gen 2. It is, I mean, I wouldn't think it's any better, but that is basically what it is. So once you have taken out the motor, or the old motor, shop motor, whatever you'd like to call it, the one that you don't want, I do suggest putting just a little bit of silicone on the pivot head, or whatever you'd like to call it. That way it's lubricated. Anyways, so you're going to put the positive side where the positive wire is and the negative side where the negative wire are. There's these two little slots that stick on that thing jig, and yeah. So yeah. So once you get it in your magwell, or whatever you'd like to call it, you're going to take these little connectors and you're going to get them on the positive and negative, which basically are pretty simple to do. Make sure that they're on there good and that they aren't going to come off, so when you're in mid-game that you aren't the person sitting there and see 10 million people running across when you could light them up, but your gun isn't working because you didn't put the contacts on right. Yeah. So once they are on there, they do bend down just a little bit, and then you can put your cover back on. Make sure that it is the right side and all that stuff, so that you're not sitting there pushing and all that stuff trying to get it down. So I'm going to tighten these on real quick and I'll get right. Okay, so now that you have tightened it on, try not to mess with the Allen key screw that is in there, because you already have it set to the height where your motor needs to be placed inside the gear so it turns over. You might have to adjust it a little bit. There are different kind of keys. ICS has an Allen key screw that is in there. D-Boys, G&G, I believe, do have just a flathead screw that basically goes into it. So now we're going to see if this shoots within 11.1 and see if the spacing is all good inside of it. Okay. So this is a little bit tight, so you're going to take your Allen key and loosen it up just a bit. So you can see that these weren't all the way fully tightened to begin with. Alright, so now I'm going to get an Allen key. Oh, smaller. Loosened it up a bit. Getting the sound a little bit better. Just a tiny bit more. There we go. Now that you can tell that the difference from basically whining, you can tell the difference from whining to not whining, that it is completely fine. It could be a little bit less, but you are going to get a pretty fast response and everything, and it won't whine anymore. Some whining can be the shimming in your motor, your teeth, or even your shimming in your gears. Hopefully you don't have that problem. If you do have a gun that is capable of decompressing, I do suggest that you do that so your motor or spring or gears or piston is not under stress the whole time. Once again, thank you, Cayden, for letting me borrow, or, well, was going to buy, but borrow your turbo ICS 3000 motor. And once again, thank you, Tulsa Airsoft, for helping me, I guess you can say, redo it. And just make sure to lubricate. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this YouTube tutorial. I do hope it did help you. I am just getting into the tutorials as well as the team is. We do put up a video almost every Friday of our gameplay at the indoor, and we don't really do a lot of outdoor gameplay just because of the distances and everything, and you won't be able to see a lot. However, we do hope that you can subscribe and like and just kind of get our name out there, because we are trying to build our airsoft team as well as our crowd that is watching. Thank you guys.